Hello, friends. Welcome to the Science Show. And today we have a very interesting find related to our space time, which is, we are constantly trying to understand our universe. And one of the intriguing mystery is that how different types of black holes become or merge together, become large by merging together. So we have not fully understood what is basically making these black hole merge. Simply because when the black holes fall into, if the two black hole come near each other and they fall into an orbit, then their orbit can get into very stable form, and for millions of years or for billions and for trillions of years, if there is no external force acting on the black hole, then these black holes will basically keep rotating around each other for as long as time permit. And yet we see that these black hole merge to become much bigger black hole. So what are the processes? The scientists have been able to find that out, and that the answer has come from globular clusters. And friends, as you know, that the globular clusters are the structures which are primarily responsible for one of the structure in the galaxy which is responsible for star birth. And since the globular cluster has a lot of gravity and a lot of gas in it, the gas condenses and form the stars. And in our galaxy we have counted about 150 globular cluster. Then there are other 1000 plus open clusters. We will not concentrate on those. We will concentrate on the globular clusters. Essentially, these globular clusters were the central core area of the galaxies which have collided with our Milky Way in the past, in history. So these globular clusters are very interesting. They are sort of the celestial core of the small galaxies which actually got gobbled up by the Milky Way in its journey. And these globular clusters basically create new stars, which then eventually float around in our galaxy, form different, become part of the spiral arms of the galaxy. Our sun is also probably product of these globular cluster. And this is very interesting because when the globular cluster moves around in the galaxy, it actually uh, leaves the trail of the stars. And well, the age of the universe is quite high as compared to the age of the stars. So if there are stars which are born inside the globular cluster, the chances are they will actually also end their life pretty fast as compared to the life of the galaxy. So when they end their life within the globular cluster and they did not get chance to move out of the globular cluster, then based on the size of the star will collapse into a black hole. And once that happens, then the chances are that there may be multiple stars got converted into black hole within the globular cluster itself. And the chances are that these one or two stars or one or two black holes will start rotating around each other, and they will fall into a very stable orbits around each other, because black holes are very stable, easy to explain objects. What happens inside black hole we don't know, it's very difficult. But on the surface they have only 3 to 4 properties, and therefore they get into orbit and they fall into a very stable orbit around each other. So if the orbits are stable, how they can beat that and merge? That is the intriguing part. And the scientists did not understand fully the processes which will make two black holes collide with each other, because I think the black holes are very high concentration of gravity, and to manipulate that it requires a lot of energy. So to make two black holes come close or come into a trajectory so that they collide with each other requires a lot of energy. And this was intriguing fact which scientists were trying to understand, and they were trying to find the answers to this puzzle. What forms? So the latest study shows that because of the new star formation which creates multiple star, very large star in these globular clusters, and then these large stars basically burn hard and die fast, and when they die they create huge supernovas and hypernovas and then convert back into black holes. So once that happens, these supernovas and hypernova create uh, all sorts of interaction with the black hole which are already present in the globular cluster. Remember, globular clusters are the remnants of the galactical cores which have been eaten up by the Milky Way galaxies. So essentially, they are the erstwhile galaxies, small galaxies. So they actually retain their shape, and the stars which are born in globular cluster will remain there, and they will be affected by the gravitational push and pull which happens within the globular cluster. So the point is that these gravitational wave will basically affect these uh, black holes which are in orbit, and sometimes one of the member of this stable system, otherwise stable system, the orbit might change because of these changes which are happening in the globular cluster, and one of the black hole get into elliptical orbit, and once that happens, that is when the chance of two black holes colliding increases, because if one of the object is in elliptical orbit, in future it will eventually keep changing and gravitationally get manipulated, eventually collide with each other. And once these black hole collide, they will actually merge, and the resultant body will basically form even bigger black hole. And once that happens, these are some of the biggest collisions in the space, and this kind of collision creates huge gravitational waves which we can detect. So if we have now two gravitational wave detectors on Earth, so we actually measure the readings from both the detectors which are on quite far off distances on the surface of the Earth, and by measuring the time delays between recording at these two locations, we can then figure out what is the actual point from where the gravitational wave originated. And this process must be happening because many of these gravitational waves which we have detected on the surface of Earth are coming from these globular clusters. And this explains that, well, our gravitational wave detector detects these gravitational waves and coming from globular cluster, and these are very energetic, and we know exactly what could be causing these waves, because when we point our optical telescope at that location, we don't see anything, which is a telltale sign that if there is nothing visibly existing there at that point, that means there must be a black hole which is able to create this huge tsunami of gravitational wave. So this is something which was sort of a mystery, that how black hole are able to merge and become larger in size, and what are the processes which are involved in making sure that these black hole are put into right trajectory so that they can collide with each other and get absorbed into a much bigger black hole. That has been finally solved. That means a black hole can be gravitationally nudged, and only higher gravity than the black hole will be able to make those changes. So this since globular cluster is a good example, because things are rather compact in the globular cluster, very close by, so the gravitational impact in a globular cluster is higher than the rest of the galaxy, and therefore we are able to come to this conclusion that these black holes must be merging because of the gravity which is affecting on them, and that is the cause of merger of the black hole. So this is one thing which I wanted to talk about: latest finding, latest discovery, latest understanding of processes. And if you have any thoughts and comments on this subject, kindly feel free to send in your comment. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you again tomorrow with something more intriguing. Enjoy your time in space time. Catch you tomorrow. Bye bye.